Okay, so that first coat's dry. Now we're going to hit it with the white. It's dark outside and the light's not great out here, but we don't need good light for undercoat. .45-degree angle, stand back a bit. That's it, we're done. That's all you need to do. So that's highlighted now. We wait for that to dry and then we go inside and we start painting. And it's time to paint. Painting with Judge. Tonight we have a Mech. The undercoat came out perfect. Let's see how we paint. First we'll need some paints. Okay. Valio Model Air Series. Air Series are the metallic ones that you find mostly on planes and metal structures and stuff. So what are we going to use? Blue, 71.004. Light grey, 71005. Pale blue, 71008. And the body, we're going to do grey blue, 71005. We need a bit of red for the guns, 71.003, with the yellow to make the oranges. Medium yellow, 71002. We won't need the black. No, we won't. We'll get it out anyway. But I doubt we'll need it. And that'll do. That's more than enough. Chances are we're only going to use 3 or 4 of them. We have our water. Because it's such a tiny mech, we're going to use a number 1 paintbrush. A real fine one. Let's begin. Look, I haven't got the base on yet. I really should wait for the base to be finished. We discussed that in the last video, but we're going to carry on. This is the first of a series of mechs, which are all going to be similar colour. So this is a sacrificial one to see if it works. The colour, I mean. We could go white, we could go grey, we could go green, we could go any colour we want. You know what we haven't got? My tray. But because it's such a small model, we're not going to need one. We're just going to mix straight on here. Okay, we're going to start off with a base coat of this grey. Water it down. Start painting. We want nice thin paint coats. I'm going to go up 1 brush. We're going up to a number 6. Wet it. And away we go. Every time you look at a model you think, fucking hell, how am I going to do this? And there's only one answer I've got for that. Pick a colour and start. That's all I've got to say about that. It's already looking better. Irony being it started out great. But you'll see how it turns out. So we found a little spot to hold onto it. We can always come back and do that spot later. I'm especially going to do extra thin coats up here on the top because we want that undercoat to show through a little bit. So really water it down over the top here where we've got all the undercoats there, and it'll just give it a better look. The key is with these really tiny ones, you want your paint watered down, well, for the base coat anyway, and you want to do really fine light brush strokes. Otherwise you fill up all the details with paint and you don't want to do that. As this paint dries, the water is going to retard back and it's going to leave all that beautiful detail on there. And that's why we do this, for the detail. It's not for our sanity, I'll tell you that much now. But I'll tell you what, when you nail it, when you get this Mech just right, and you see the end result, you think, fucking hell. That's our base coat done. When you're doing in full production mode, you could probably line up 3 or 4 and just do 3 or 4 at once. Like you do one, that dries, you do the next one, that dries, so forth, and by the time you get done with your last one, you're ready to pick it up and start again. Hairs on it. Now we just do that last little bit, our little hot handy hole that we're holding onto, and that is done. That's the base coat done. You see how light I'm touching that? I mean, that model takes nothing to fucking tip over, eh? You're just touching it with your paintbrush. Just touching it. Very thin on the top because we wanted that undercoat to show through. But just as much as we want the undercoat to show through, we don't want any gaps in the paint because they'll stand out like dog's balls later. That's the same Mechwarrior. That's painted. But wait, there's more. Always wash your brush out. Whenever you're not going to use it, whenever you're not going to touch it, wash it out. Just do it. Otherwise you'll end up with fucking brushes that are all hard. Okay, now we stop for a break and we let that fully dry. That'll take about 10-15 minutes. Okay, that's had some drying time. So now we're going to paint some details. For this we'll be using a light grey. And we really need fuck all because all we're going to be doing is his face. A couple of details around, a couple of flashes, that's all we're going to do. Less is more with miniatures. If you overdo it, you'll fuck it. That's enough paint, one drop. And this is the brush we're going to use. 0.3. I'm going to paint back over them. And we're only going to keep it those 3 flashes in the front. Sometimes just blowing the paint does the job that you want it to do. Hey, I didn't even have to touch that. I just blew some of the wet paint back, and now it's acted like a wash because it's so watered down, and it's actually giving me a better effect. So we asked that one. That happens. We're going to let it dry on its back so the paint doesn't run back down. And that's it for that colour. When we do the dry brush, it's going to pick up those highlights anyway, so we're not going to touch it. And that's why you use less is more, because when you dry brush this model at the end, it's going to pick up highlights and it's going to appear like a light grey anyway. So careful, less is more. And that's it, we'll wait for that to dry and then we'll come back and do some more details. Okay, that's had a bit of drying time. So far so good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some red on that patch on the front, and we're going to start the cockpit. The cockpit is going to be fiddly as fuck. You'll see what I mean. Valio red 71.003 coming right up. We're going to use ultra fine brushes on this, and we only need a drop of paint. Wet the brush. Steady hands. If you've got one of those magnifiers, now would be the time to do it, but I don't. Do is a bit of an effect on the cockpit. It's going to have a red, well, it's going to have like a yellowy reddy light inside, night vision light. So we're going to mix in a bit of yellow. And we're going to do that on the fly. It's just so the colours blend a bit better. We're going to wait for it to dry. That's it, perfect. Don't touch a fucking thing, Judge. That'll wash down with the wash, so it won't be quite as bright. Now we let that dry. But while we're doing that, we're going to do highlights in his machine guns. so small, the amount of fucking, that dot must be like 0.1 of a millimeter. And that's all we want. Now here's a trick we can do. Just touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. And that's just blended the paint perfectly. We're going to use this for a dot. It's not even a brush, it's a needle, it's a point. There we go. That is done. So for all intensive purposes, that mech is now complete. That didn't take long. Couple of touch-ups. Somehow we got a bit of red on his shoulder. Let's cover that up. No. Now we wait for the wash. But first, we've got to dry brush it. So for dry brushing, that paint must be dry. So I'm going to leave it for a good 45 minutes. You'll like dry brushing, it's what makes these models special. It's a bit of a trick to it, a bit of an art to it, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, dry brush time. You do this with a dry brush, obviously. So we have white 71001 base white. We have our dry brush, which is basically the fattest size 8 brush, could use a size 10, but a nice fat brush, and you trim the edge off. You basically take the nib off and you want a nice flat head. You rough it up a bit. This is sacrilege with brushes. Actually, you just don't do this with brushes, but you do for dry brushing. So that's what you want. No water. Couple of drops. You want to get it soaked in paint, and then you want to get all the paint out of it. You want it so it's painting virtually nothing on the cardboard. Then start with the highlights and work your way back. Still a bit too much paint on there. That'll get covered up in the wash. Basically just go over the whole model like this. done. And that's a dry brush. Fuck, that looks shit hot. Now we pick our nice fat brush and we get ready with the wash. I always like to use sepia wash because it gives a bit of a rusty effect too, so you want a bit of rust on an old Mech. And remember, water it right down. Two or three drops will be enough. 50-50 with water. Let's paint her on. You want to wash a nice thick coat, just slap it on. And that'll get in all the crevices and dark in the darks, and the highlights will run off it, so you'll get the highlights and the darks at the same time. I need a bit more. I've ordered this in bulk, like I said, at 200ml, because I know I'm going to run out of wash pretty quick. I wash all my models because I reckon it just looks better. You want to sort of slap it on fast, but not so fast that you make a mess. And only do one coat at a time, because one coat might be enough. If you put too much on, then you'll ruin the model. Done. That is one extraordinarily good looking Mech. And there I was thinking at the beginning of this, I thought, I hope I don't fuck this one up. I haven't done a miniature Mech in bloody couple of years. I'd pick it up and show you on the camera, but obviously I can't. It's wet. But for all intensive purposes, we are done. Thank you very much. I'll do a zoom in and scroll around later. Or a pan, I should say, and pan around later. But that is one shit hot looking Mech. complete model. On the base, hexagonal base for the gamers. And she's ready to go. Not bad when you look at what we started with. Thanks for watching.